Hi, beautiful, divinely connected soul. Thank you for joining me, Mystic Miya, here on A Moment Tarot for the monthly energy forecast. We're looking at August 2025. But if you come across this at another time, there might be a message in here for you. You can also pick a crystal for a message specific to you. You can pick a crystal for a major energy or a minor energy for this month, or even if you watch this at another time, another August, usually some of the same energies kind of repeat in cycles. So you might see some energies that relate to you whenever you watch this. All right, so we have some major astrological energies for August. A few minor ones. We have Mercury Kazemi, kind of at the last day of July into the first day of August, depending on where you are. We have Mars going into Libra, and then the full moon in Aquarius. Also, when Mars is opposite Saturn and Neptune in Aries, and trine Uranus and Gemini and Pluto in Aquarius. So there's it's just a lot of energy on the same day as the full moon. Mercury finally goes direct on the 11th, ending this Mercury retrograde in Leo. But the Leo season continues until 3/4 of the way in. And then we have Venus going into Leo. So there's kind of this whatever happened in Leo season continues afterwards, and in a very pleasant way for you if you've done what you're supposed to do during the Mercury retrograde in Leo. And for me, the Mercury retrograde is doing inner work, reviewing, making sure that your life is in alignment. And if you check all those boxes and you did what you needed to do, then this Venus in Leo is going to be very positive for you. And then Uranus, sextile Neptune, and there's a bunch of planets in the first degree. Uranus is in the first degree Gemini, Neptune is in the first degree Aries, and even Saturn is close to Neptune in first degree Aries. So there's a lot of big things starting, and you can see that happens right after this huge 10-day portal. So you can see after the Mercury retrograde, after that period of going in during Leo season, and during this powerful Lion's Gate, we have this energetic upgrade, which gets us ready to start things right off the bat. There's a lot of forward moving energies. This was a very big Leo season, Lion's Gate, Mercury retrograde in Leo. A lot of energy of let's ready to do this. Let's ready to, get out there after healing or after working on this project quietly for so long, after being in hermit mode, after being so quieted. It's time to be loud, proud, put yourself out there, express yourself. And for light workers, that's usually, the soul mission call and getting started on that, meeting up with other like-minded souls and even divine counterparts. And big steps in career, and also a lot of abundance if you have done what you're supposed to do in the cycle. Don't worry if you haven't. It's still going to be pushing you forward and the entire collective. All right, so that's kind of the general overview of August, intuitively, what I'm channeling. And so we have these 4 crystals here that I'm going to use for 4 main energies during this month. I'm going to kind of go in order, what's going to happen around the beginning, the middle, and the end. But they're just going to be just overall general energies for the whole month. And so if you want to pick a crystal to see which energy is going to affect you the most, you can pick the picture Jasper, the Unakite, Fluorite, and the Dalmatian Jasper. You can take a second now if you need time to pick. If not, I'm going to start with the first main energy. All right, so let's start with the first main energy. This is for the picture Jasper. What's the energy? What's the main energy that's coming in or leaving or shifting? What's the energy? Soul fragments. Okay. Balance will be restored. Okay, this is why this is a very karmic time. You know, we're in August, the 8th month. We have the Lion's Gate portal 8/8, and this is when people get their harvest, right? It's very powerful, and it's abundance energy and power energy, and balance will be restored. This is definite energy of like big karmic shifts. People are going to get their dues. You're going to see, you know, there is no bad or good, but you're going to see the bad guys get their karma. You're going to see the good guys get their karma. And this is why it's for light workers. You can see a lot of them come out of their quiet, laying low type of energy. And not just light workers, just folks who have been kind of quietly working on their projects behind the scenes, quietly working on themselves behind the scenes. You're going to see them come out in very big ways. You're going to see this huge shift in public figures, public influencers, public facing positions, people on TV and radio, and the content that we consume, books and magazines and articles and videos. You're going to see a huge shift in the people who are at the forefront in terms of being able to be seen. And then you're going to see the people who have been at the forefront, CEOs, influencers who may have not been the best influencers, people who have been kind of had a lot of power, either get more recognition, get their due recognition. Like, okay, like there's like two people who have two different methods of cleaning up the ocean, for example, but one person is obviously cutting corners and the other person isn't. You're going to see the people who are doing it the right way get recognition, and the people who weren't doing it the right way, the CEOs, the leaders, the people, politicians who weren't being very upfront, who were lying, who were in negative energy, who were deceiving those around them, deceiving those that they were supposed to represent, deceiving those that they were supposed to help, are going to also get really huge karmic backlash. And it's just gonna all kind of work, you know. Some of these things are kind of things that have been in the works for a very long time, and others of these things are going to be things that are just coming up now, new things. Blossoming in reverse, yeah. Flower moon. Okay, blossoming in reverse. The flower moon is May's full moon. It's kind of like Taurus energy here. Whatever kind of started in May for you is going to blossom now. So if there's been a lot of big energies that have been kind of shifting from the last few years, but like last November, earlier this year, up until, you know, March, April, May. So there's been huge shifts like one after another after another. The few big ones, and you can see like there's like few big planets that also change signs, which is kind of, you know, like one of them doesn't change signs for 20 years, the other 14, the other 7, and those all changed signs recently. And so like you can see these 3 big shifts happen one after another, last November, earlier this year, and then in spring. So whatever kind of, this is more of an indication of what happened in May, is going to probably manifest or start manifesting now. Interesting. I got a couple cards here. It says, do not back down from opposition, show strength and fortitude. You are highly thought of. So it's like, because you didn't back down. So this is definitely a situation that has been continuing since May. I'm getting you're finally going to be like recognized for, or you're finally going to like, I feel like it's like something, it's like your own personal goal, but people, like, for some reason some people are going to be able to see it around you. It's a physical manifestation. So whatever you've been kind of dealing with since like May is going to finally pay off now in a very, very big way. Okay, so this is a shift that's been happening, and I think this is kind of an energy of like, you're like, what am I putting all this work for? When is this gonna stop? When is this gonna change? When is this gonna pay off? Is it ever gonna pay off? Yeah, that's manifesting now. You might have even kind of just like put it in the back of your mind or something. We have the sirens there, so this is a very, very, like, this is a very big deal. Almost kind of like an emergency, urgent, a crisis situation. I'm getting it was urgent. So whatever you've been working on, it's been very, very taxing. And you chose to work on it. I feel like there's a lot of the collective that maybe not chose it, but this is the universe being like, this is what we wanted for you. We wanted massive change, especially in regards to something big that affects your life and needed urgent attention. Okay, so how does it affect the collective? How does this energy affect everyone? What's the intention of this energy, right? I can't control the world, but I can control how I choose to perceive it. And loss in reverse. So there's definitely this energy of like, there's a lot that was perceived to be lost. This kind of been a really, because it was like so urgent and like a very important thing in your life that people were dealing with since May. It kind of felt like you just kept losing the battle. You just keep losing things from you. Things just keep falling away. Things just keep getting worse and worse with the situation, or just fading away with the situation, even though you put a lot of energy and effort because it is so important to you. But Spirit is saying like, this isn't meant to be like the loss in the way that you think it is. This is just kind of clearing the way. We have the Five of Wands here. This is just about change. So I'm definitely getting that, like, even if you feel like, no, it's like you don't. Oh, God. Okay. Even if you feel like you've been kind of losing the battle with this situation since May, like, over time, it's just like a losing battle. That's just because things are changing so significantly underneath the surface. Okay, and so how does this affect you? What can you do? And what does this look like in your own personal life? Jump in. Andromedan energy. Adventure, say yes to change. Yeah, so there is a change happening, but for you, it might have just felt like you're just working your butt off for this thing, and it just keeps getting worse and worse. It just keeps fading away, or just keeps like diminishing. And it's like, why do I keep putting an effort into this? But it's like so important. And then we have this like new adventure, say yes, and it's a very like awesome energy to kind of make that change in. It's like, it's something totally unexpected. That's why you kept feeling like it's like a loss. But then it's because this really brand new energy was coming in that's like better than you could have ever imagined. That's completely different than how you've been working on this. It works. Andromedan energy. It works because you are still spiritually, energetically, mentally, and physically working on this thing since May, but it's manifesting in a like somewhat like miraculous, universal, divine gift way. So like you have been working on it, but it's not like, it was energetic work, right? And then it's manifesting in a way that you could not have predicted, in a way better way than you could have thought, you know? Okay, so the Andromedan energy, spiritual, light language, light codes, unlocking cosmic wisdom, wisdom, light, and innovation to earth. So you are being set up so you can receive your calling, or receive more of what you are meant to experience in this lifetime, your destiny. So wisdom, light, and innovation to earth. That's why I feel like I've been getting this for a long time, but a lot of folks are getting kind of their higher life purpose around this time, which is usually the case around like Lionsgate. It kind of propels you forward in a very, very big way. So yeah, you could definitely see something better than you could imagine coming in, and all the work was not for naught. Like it got you this opportunity. Adjustments are required. They're definitely giving you a heads up that like, yeah, it is going to be completely different than you thought. You might have to kind of wrap your head around it for a second, or like, you know, kind of get your footing and like kind of like be like, okay, this is what's happening. It's kind of different. It's kind of not a risk, but it's definitely taking a chance on something, because it's different, and you're like hoping, you're hoping and you're feeling like it could work out, and it will work out, and it's kind of like, what am I gonna do? Not take this opportunity? Of course, everyone still has a choice, but this, I definitely feels like it's more energy of, it is something you have to kind of be like, okay, this is a completely different path than I thought, you know? We have the High Priestess here. Yeah, this is definitely like you getting a download, you getting an epiphany, you getting contacted by a higher energy to kind of be like this direction. And so it is very kind of like you do have to kind of like adjust a tiny bit. It doesn't take too long, but it's just like, okay, wow, like complete life change. This is something that's going to profoundly change my life. Throne, position of authority. You're going to be thrown into a position of a leadership position, a spiritual leader. But it doesn't have to be a spiritual leader. Not everyone who comes across spiritual readings are going to be in the spiritual line of work. But whatever you do it with a lot of intention and intuition, a lot of intelligence, and a lot of intelligence from outside of yourself, you know? So whatever it is, you're being thrown into a more leadership position, a position with more authority, responsibilities, and it casts like a wider net. Like you're going to be definitely upping your game. Okay, and so Spirit's message and outcome. So how does this look like in the physical? What's the main takeaway here? What's the advice here from Spirit? Inspiration in reverse. So you are the inspirational leader. You are the inspirational leader. Okay. And Phoenix, wow. Be prepared to be renewed after a period of crisis. Yeah. So I do feel like whatever has been going on, whatever has been plaguing you since around May, is going to be, the crisis is averted, I'm hearing. It's like it's finally going to be put to rest. And I definitely feel like you're going to be stepping into your role. I'm getting this like type of fire energy where you're going to be channeling what needs to be brought into this world. So whether it's this new opportunity, yes, to the change, whether it's an idea, whether it's an invention, whether it's a theory, whether it's love and compassion, whether it's the way you do things, whether it's changing the game somehow. You're gonna become like a very strong channel, and that's why I do get like, yeah, I do feel like, even though this might sound crazy to some people, it is going to bring in, I'm getting starseed energy for hardcore. It is going to bring in some wild, out there ideas and theories, concepts, and it kind of like you were picked for this specific task, project, goal, idea, you know? You're going to be this like channel that brings in this like this unique idea, or bring it in in a unique way. Interestingly enough. Okay. See if there's, got January here. And we got April and victory in some endeavor. So yeah, I definitely feel there's like some sort of milestone happening in January and April with this new inspiration. So I definitely feel like you'll see some big things happen around January and April in terms of pulling off whatever, like I feel like you get this idea and you have to kind of like figure out how you're going to do it. And by January and April, you kind of see major things in the physical kind of prove and show that like, yeah, it is happening. It is working for you. Okay. All right. So now we're looking at the second main energy with Unakite here. Okay. So it's energy, what's coming in or leaving. Let go of fear. Aww. I'll make her over. Nice nap. Okay. So divine will, let go of fear. So this is kind of like having trust and letting, like, let go and let God kind of thing. Definitely just like diving in, taking a chance. And I feel like there was like a test of faith around this time for you, end of July, beginning of August, where it's kind of like really like having a really, really crazy delusional amount of faith in whatever you believe in, you know, or believing the universe is going to pull through in a certain way, or that whatever idea you have is going to work. This is kind of like the last push, the last ditch effort to kind of really put in all your belief in something. And it's like kind of crazy, but it's a short period of time. So if you want to test out your faith and see if it works after just like a short period of time, 1 to 3 weeks, this is the time to do it. And I guarantee you're going to see big results if you like don't waver and really have full faith. That's something that a lot of light workers are kind of tested with, you know, throughout their journey. But there's like bigger and bigger ones when big cycles are ending and new big cycles are beginning, which you probably saw. I definitely saw some around the same time. Like it was like November, that was big energy, and then December was a faith test. January was a huge change in energy, and then February was the trust. March was a change of energy, and then April was the trust. I think that was energy timeline that I remember. And then now, so June was that change in energy, and July is the trust, and now August is something about this letting go of fear. August is like, now I feel like the action part, when things change. Like you had the trust in July, and now August is when it's going to manifest. You had the trust in April, and then May is when it manifested. You had the trust in February, and then March is when it manifested. You had the trust, and you know, it was just kind of like this energy of just, it's just energy changed. And then there was like a test of faith, and then things changed, and then kind of physical things started happening, right? But there's a period of like, yeah, faith, having faith, and letting changes happen, which a lot of people don't do. They just kind of like action, and you feel kind of like weird sitting still and sitting on your hands and not doing anything. But there's like a reason why universe has you do that, even if it feels counterintuitive. It doesn't feel logical. Like, you should work towards the things that you want, but like there's a lot of times where people take action and it's like they want to go, and they don't take the time to realize if that was the right decision for them, or to kind of review, or to kind of let things settle or come in or change, or kind of, you know, give it space. A lot of people are just like want to flow but don't appreciate the ebb and flow. Resilience. Okay. Waning grievous. Okay, resilience. Yeah. So it's definitely kind of an energy of whatever big lessons and virtues you are kind of being tested on in recent months is what is manifesting for you. You wanted to be resilient. You wanted to be like recession proof, I'm hearing. You want to be have like a huge energy field or shield against negative energy. You wanted to have no blocks and nothing stopping you from your manifestations, or for attracting your ultimate love, or the right people, the right, like, your soul family, or right opportunities. You wanted to have that ultimate shield, the ultimate resilience energy, ultimate shield, the ultimate protection energy. You've built it up. You know how they say the universe, God doesn't just give you things, they give you the things that you need to build it for yourself. So you built up this energy shield bubble for yourself, which is significant for light workers, because this is you going into 5D, right? Like, now you're going to be immune to any like 3D negativity, you know? Okay. Rainbow, the most difficult part of a situation is over. Yeah, you've built up, there's a part of you that want to build up this energy so much that you are completely in the 5D, that you don't have to deal with any of these 3D, I'm hearing, dumb bullshit ever again. And you did that. You know, you did it as a light worker, as someone who was a starseed who was sent here to kind of uplift the collective energy. You did it. Or you completed a major cycle, portion of it, where you don't have to deal with that BS anymore, I'm hearing. Okay. So there, you're going to see this energy in the collective as well. So let's see how this affects everyone. What's the intention of this energy? Creativity flows from me. I am a divine creator. So this is going to allow people to be able to connect to the divine more easier, better, more stronger, and let it flow better. So it was a period of ebb in order to increase the flow, if that makes sense. So this was meant for everyone. You're going to see everyone get more in touch with their spiritual side. And we saw that with like how the North Node and South Node changed signs in January. I think it was North Node, Pisces, South Node, Virgo, right? In order to kind of go step into a more spiritual mindset, more spiritual energy as a collective. And Virgo in the South Node, like, without being too picky and nitpicky about it, like, just like get into the spiritual energy, get into a more creative energy, without like kind of tying you down with too many details right now. Just the important thing is to move in that direction, to like let that be the main energy of the collective right now, and be in that frame of mind. Okay, so for the collective, message of forgiveness. It came out in reverse. With a spiritual energy, there's going to be a lot of opportunities to forgive yourself, forgive past versions of yourself, forgive people who have done a lot of wrongdoings in your life and also in the world. Because this is a collective energy, this is going to be a chance for the collective to forgive people who, like, you know how we said we're going to see a lot of public figures step down, not just public figures but also like powerful figures, people who had a lot of power over a lot of people in situations, even if they were kind of behind the scenes and people didn't really know their names. You're going to see like that kind of information come up where people are like kind of pointing out, like, you know, let the internet do its work, like, you know, people are going to figure out like, oh, this person was responsible for this, like they use their power for not good things, and like finding out like specific things. This is a powerful moment for the collective to see like if we can forgive, which is like, you know, people aren't going to be able to do that, right? So there's going to be a huge like uproar of people kind of being like, what happened? That's not okay. We're not going to forgive you. So there's been a huge uptick in wanting to separate people, right? Like the powers that were are really trying hard to separate and segregate people yet again, and like divide and conquer, create a lot of chaos and hatred within the general collective. And so you're going to see that come to a head. A lot of people are going to be kind of shocked with the kind of truths that come out or the kind of points that people make, and there's going to be that kind of energy is going to come to a head. And also there's going to be stuff that kind of starts coming out, because I see this energy more kind of going into September, October, like the more devastating, hardcore things, that truths that are going to be revealed about things that have been going on that's really, really bad. But I feel like it starts now. And so right now it's going to be mostly like those types of things where people were kind of pit against each other, groups that were pit against each other. That's going to come to a head. And I'm also it's going to start with like certain like influencer people that are popular, because that's where it always starts, right? With like musicians and Hollywood and entertainment type things first, right? Sports and people are on TV and stuff like that. So it's going to start with like that kind of stuff first. CEOs that people know, names that people know first. And then, yeah, this is like the collective rabbit hole. This is like the collective ready to go, accepting to go into that rabbit hole as a collective. And we saw that in the Great Awakening. There's going to be a collective who started awakening beforehand to like start the Great Awakening, and then a collective that decided to go through awakening together instead of individually, like light workers and Starseeds before, that are going to be relying on each other through this time, which is, there's like pros and cons. Pros, that they have more support and more intel available to them. They can share more information, they can access more information, especially from their predecessors, and by each other spread information. That's why social media is like such a powerhouse in this way, why it came around exactly at this time. But also there's going to be more collective empathy, and like, you know how if one person's feeling depressed, like it can bring down the other person, and they can start getting depressed too after a while. There's going to be like a collective like depression, sadness, anger kind of thing, and it's going to be more amplified because people around them are also feeling that. And that's the shield that the light workers have and starseeds had, is that they're not going to be affected by that like collective depression. And in fact, a lot of you are going to be helping people with that kind of collective emotional healing that needs to be done, but like soon, not right now. Like you might get a lot of like people who know that you're in this kind of line of work, or is really good with their own like mastery and healing work, to kind of help you, like your friends and family, people that you know around you. But it's not your obligation or responsibility just yet. I mean, here and there, not a bad thing, but you have to kind of get your calling and settle into that. So and then plus a lot of folks are going to be kind of triggered and not even be able to accept your guidance, advice, help, or even you kind of just being there for them in a positive way all the time or most of the time. So it might even like kind of hinder them at the beginning. So it might be best to kind of step back, at least for the beginning. Okay. So how does this affect you specifically? And what does it look like in your personal life, this energy? You're not alone. Isolation, physical connection, community. Yeah, so this is like, how the collective energy also kind of comes together, because that's the energy, right? Like if it's a collective energy, it doesn't just affect the non-awakened or just awakening folks. It also affects light workers and the folks who are already awakened and already on the spiritual journey, where you are going to be coming together with other like-minded people, other spiritual folks, other starseeds, other like-minded individuals. And yeah, this is a time where light workers network for sure. So don't worry, you're not going to be cast aside. You're also coming together to do some work, even though it might not be the same as the unawakened or just awakening collective. You're still going to be coming together with folks to work. For you all, it's going to be kind of more of a creative energy, more of doing spiritual work with other people. In the beginning, you're going to feel very childlike and very happy to be around a lot of these folks, because all of you are kind of entering 5D together and being in that 5D energy. A lot of folks haven't felt that 5D energy consistently since childhood, although a lot of light workers who awakened beforehand were dark black sheeps and outcasts and had dark experiences and trauma in childhood. But I'm just saying, like, for most of us, that's when we probably felt 5D consistently the longest, maybe at times during your spiritual journey, but mostly in your childhood. And that's why you're going to feel kind of like childlike in the beginning, like just like awe, straight up awe and excitement and flow, a burst of creativity and feeling that intense amount of love from the universe, and getting used to that, and then quickly going into your teenage phase, and then kind of like, okay, like now that we're settled into this energy, let's use it for a higher purpose, right? Okay. And bring love into the situation. Yeah. So you're going to have such an unlimited amount of love being poured into your cup, because you're in 5D now, right? So you're going to be very strongly connected to the divine, right? We saw that, where you can have like unlimited access to the Akashic information, divine connection, and also creativity, ideas, and love. So you're gonna have so much love that you can be able to pass it on to others. And that is exactly the energy. I had like a little glimpse of what 5D version of me looked like earlier this year, and it was exactly that. Like I had so much love pouring into me that I was giving love to every word and move that I made was like pouring out love to everything. Like I think I was just about to record a reading at that point. I was like thanking the like equipment and the camera and my guides, like, let's do a great reading today. And it was just so divine feminine energy, hardcore, and like Disney princess type energy. It was just like oozing love nonstop. Okay, we're gonna move your butt. See if we can get a clarifier. I keep getting fair woman, so that's kind of somehow significant. Happiness and well-being, and a goal-oriented person. So I do feel like there is a platonic energy as well. I'm getting platonic energy. This is soul fam type energy, soul friends, bring love into the situation. Yeah, I feel like your love is amplified, not just by like a romantic love, But I feel like because of the amount of the collection of Lightworker, Starseed, Spiritual Warrior, Wayshower type energy that is surrounding you. These are people on your level, and it creates some sort of positive vortex wherever you are. Like, you're going to feel incredible amount of divine energy and power that you've never felt before. And I keep getting like, it's platonic. Like, there's going to be a lot of and I guess soul mission people, because they're goal oriented, happiness and well-being, but people you get along with very well. It's kind of like, how like when you find folks that like are just, they just get you on so many levels, like they're gonna be more than one thing to you. Like, they're not just gonna be your friend, but you might decide to like start a business together, or like start a family at the same time, or they're invited to all the family events, and things like that. So I definitely get like, it's like people who have multiple roles in your life, like that type of energy, and it's like more platonic. Okay, and then lastly, like Spirit's message and outcome. So how does it look physically? What's the main takeaway here? Advice, Spirit's advice, compassion. So there's a lot of energy of like, you're being chosen to kind of bring in a lot of you've been a chosen vessel to channel love, creativity, inspiration, ideas, and that's what you were awakened early on for. That's why you awakened ahead of the crowd, to hold that space, hold that energy, and then bring in, channel through your conduit, through your body, which you've made an energetic conduit that is appropriate, that can handle this type of energy being channeled through. That's why you kind of awakened first. That's why you had to go through all the things that you went through. And luck is you're gonna feel very lucky, and you are very lucky to be chosen, even though it doesn't feel like that at times. Like, you are very lucky to have this experience. Like, do you know how many people signed up, like were in line to have this experience, to be the light worker that awakened before the Great Awakening? You know how many people wanted that experience? You know how many people were watching? How many entities and energies were watching you and living vicariously through you? That's how lucky and rare your soul destiny is. You are right to be strong and optimistic about the opportunities ahead. I feel like you have been always kind of optimistic, even when you're in the lowest of low, which I feel like a lot of people kind of admired about you. And you always wondered about yourself. I'm like, am I a crazy, stupid person for having unlimited optimism and positivity, even in the face of adversity and dark, challenging times? And it's definitely like, it's because like that was setting you up. Like, there's going to be some dark, challenging times ahead for the collective, and you are here kind of being a conduit for all this positivity and love to channel through. That's why you were chosen. That's why you were tested to see if you can do this, and you are obviously can. Okay. All right, so we're looking at the third energy here. The third crystal is fluorite. So what's the energy? What's coming in, leaving, or shifting in terms of energy in a big way? Meditation. Improvements require persistence. So this is kind of the time where you kind of have to do spiritual work, right? This is the time where the collective moves into a more spiritual time, a more humanitarian time, right? Pluto in Aquarius, North Node in Pisces. Like, this is the time to do spiritual things. I'm getting it's going to look funny. I'm getting it's gonna look funny because, like, you don't have to just do meditation. Like, to do spiritual work, to clear your mind, people do it in different ways. Yes, of course, meditation is like one of the ultimate ways, but a lot of people have a hard time doing it. And so I'm seeing that it's gonna look funny because people are gonna invent different new ways to do spiritual practices, to connect with themselves, to do spiritual work. And it's going to look funny to us, like light workers and starseeds who've been doing this kind of stuff and seen a lot of techniques. Like, what are they doing? But a lot of people are going to like push the limits of certain spiritual modalities and tools. So it's going to be a really fun time exploring a lot of spiritual things, but you're going to see some weird, crazy things out there, like people connecting to spirituality in weird ways. The image of like the woman from some sort of European country or something like that, or like, yeah, like just that could read asparagus or something. Like it was just kind of interesting. But yeah, people are gonna get weird. It's the age of Aquarius. You're gonna see people getting like in tune in funny ways. But it's kind of like what you have to do. You kind of have to shake it off. Like I know when I started doing transcendental meditation, and before that I used to just like sit still and just meditate and clear my mind and just focus or something. Once I started doing transcendental meditation, like you have to kind of like just move your body, shake energy out, and kind of just like let your body do what it wants to do with like kind of like trance like music. And I use like shamanic drums. And it just like looks silly, right? And I'm like, oh, if anyone saw me meditating right now, they'd be like, what are you doing? Is that actually meditation? So I get that. I definitely understand that. So like people are gonna be getting spiritual. Okay. And sovereignty. Yeah, you're going to definitely find that people are going to start listening to themselves, listening to their true authentic self, which is, it sounds like maybe, it's not selfish, it's like going within. There's a lot of folks who haven't been able to kind of deal with their shadow aspects or deal with some truths out there because they haven't been able to deal with the truths within themselves. They haven't been able to see their own shadow aspects of the truths about themselves. And so it might seem kind of selfish, but it's not. A lot of people who talk a lot, but, you know, don't realize that like what they're saying is actually a mirror reflection of themselves. You're going to see a lot of those folks start going inward and kind of you can see a lot of people get kind of off of like social media, kind of revert back to some sort of type of isolation in order to kind of focus on themselves. It's not selfish. It's just kind of them kind of coming to terms with who they are, learning truths about themselves, and realizing that it's all like kind of within, going into their inner universe type things. And yeah, you know how like when people like first awaken, they start talking about like crazy things, like they talk about science and synchronicity. They like want to tell you every like weird thing that happened in their life or something crazy that happened to them that was so divine, like that kind of energy. But they're gonna spend most of it, yeah, by themselves. So you can see a lot of people kind of jump off of social media, and you're gonna see a lot of people kind of jump onto social media, and those are the people who are ready to kind of get out there after a significant healing cycle. Okay, so should I pull a clarifier? Yeah. Rose, romance is in the air. The good thing about this, so for a lot of people, so this affects everyone. So for a lot of people, it's self-love. So you can see for the collective that are awakening, it's going to be a lot of self-love. So it's not selfish. It's just kind of going within. But for a lot of other people, it's going to be a lot of people who have done a lot of work on their self-mastery and their healing and their spiritual journey and purpose. And yeah, that type of work, you're going to see that you're going to attract, because you have so much self-love and love the divine, you're going to find that you're going to probably link up with a lot of romantic potentials or really, really high-level soulmates. And potentially even find love. Okay. So how does this affect the collective? How does it affect everyone? And what's the intention of this energy? My greatest experience of freedom comes when I let go of what others think of me. Yeah, that's why a lot of people are going to be coming off. Like when I'm talking about people coming off social media, it's like people who were really superficial, or were just kind of so caught up on seeing how other people thought of them. You're going to see those people kind of start stepping away from social media. You know what I'm just getting? That's going to also help show people how many like bots there are on like different platforms, and how many people actually are liking things or interested in certain content, and who's actually making real content and fake content. There's a huge surge of like AI content and just fake comments or people like doing mass like mass fake comments and things like that. So that's gonna also happen. But yeah, it's like a lot of people like letting go of what people think of them, which is a lot of self-love. That's how it affects a great collective, because like you're also showing your person, if you're going into a romantic situation, or if you're looking at romantic potentials, you're not afraid to be your true self, and them seeing the real you and you seeing the real them, which is why this is a great time for divine counterparts when light workers and starseeds are going into 5D, and also going into grand amount of self-love, divine love, and therefore true, genuine love for another. Okay, Suki. Okay. And source energy, heck yeah. Everyone's going to be connecting to source energy. So, because everyone's going to be connecting to their inner universe. Oh, wow. That's amazing. The Six of Wands, victory. It is, the thing is, I feel like this is like a public facing victory. So I keep getting like in the public. So you're going to see a huge change of dynamics. This energy is going to shift things in physical reality. It's going to shift things in the public eye. That's why I kept getting social media. I kept getting people coming off and people coming on. Because everyone's connecting to their source. And there's some people who haven't connected to within themselves, to their true source for such a long time, that they need like absolute like quiet and no distractions and some time away. And there's those who have been connecting with source so strongly, and they have like built a really strong conduit to channel source energy, to channel their higher self, that they're ready to kind of now bring that outward. They don't need to kind of take time to do that now. They can in the 5D be in their spiritual self and be in their physical self together at the same time. So that's why this is like moving into 5D type energy. Okay, so how does it affect you, and what can you do personally? So how does it affect you personally? You beautiful soul watching this. Okay, weight of the world, boundaries, let go, it's not yours to carry. Yeah. This is like, you're going to see a lot of folks like that might come across your path because they know you, or they've like talked to you once, or they see your social media, or maybe you have some sort of content that they agree with, or you're a friend of a friend or something like that. A lot of family members, a lot of people who might know that you shine your light in this way. You know, you've done your healing, you're very grounded, you're very in the 5D, you're going to attract a lot of lights. But it's not for you to help at this time. Maybe a little bit once or twice here or there, but like honestly, this is not the right time. This isn't the right time. What do you need to release? And so we got let go, boundaries, and it's not yours to carry. So I feel like a lot of, you know, you're a very empathetic soul, right? You can feel what people are going through. You want to help. You're humanitarian. You need to let go of the idea that you have to help everyone and save everyone. That was the energy you were in when you started your initial spiritual awakening journey, because you were in that like energy of, I'm gonna like in very grandiose type of visions or delusions, like I need to save the world, I need to save everyone. And it's because that's how you saw yourself. Like you needed something or someone to save you in that grand way, to completely change your world. But that's what you had to do for yourself. You had to save yourself. So you might have been in a lot of work where you were actively being in service to others. And I kind of saw this change because like you are going to be going to soul mission, and the soul mission is going to help others, but not in the way that you thought before. It's actually, I want to say service to self, but I would say like it's something that you're very excited about. It's your purpose and passion, something that really aligns your heart and mind. It makes you like kind of sing, right? It really vibrates with your frequency. I'm getting like you might even start sleeping less because you don't need as much rest anymore. But you being uniquely you, genuinely you, authentically you, divinely you, literally pouring out that channeling through you magnificently. We're co-creating beautifully with source energy, is going to help others automatically. So you're not thinking about, I need to help others, I need to help others, I need to help others. It's let me be my true divine self, and that helps others be their true divine self, right? That alone, just like, yeah, let me be my true authentic self, helps others. Because when you become your true authentic self, you become the best version of yourself. You become, for lack of a better word, a good person. You become someone who has morals and good boundaries, and, you know, you're energetically protected, and you have a strong mental mind, you know, and strong ideas, and, you know, you become this very strong person inside and out. So you don't need to save anyone. You don't need to save yourself. You just got to be the best version of yourself, and that will help other people be the best version of yourself as inspiration. But also, whatever you kind of create is going to also help in bigger ways, if that makes sense. Wow. Let's see. The Queen of Pentacles, yeah. Came out kind of reverse. I think you're going to find that it's funny how when you start, like, just diving into that energy, because we did get that energy where it's like you have to be kind of like fully, like, if you're going to feel like fully delusional, having full faith for this period of time, and finding out that, like, it's bringing in a lot of abundance, to kind of help you with whatever you need for your own setup, for your own home, for your own security and stability, for your own relationships. So you're going to find that, like, it's not like selfish to focus on yourself. It's kind of like, it's not focusing on yourself. It's like focusing on your divinity, if that makes sense. That was kind of cool. I want to pull another card. Oh, wow. We got the King of Pentacles as well, and that brings it back to wow, the romantic relationship energy. I feel like it's like kind of, I'm getting like this, it's your new world. Your new world is kind of like this energy, and it's very much amplified and shared, this shared reality with your partner. And it kind of starts with that, like your partner, your home setting, things that are like in your immediate physical environment. And I feel like that becomes like your new 5D world. Yeah, because like in order to shift the world into 5D, you're going to have to like make it in your own little bubble first. You know, create 5D energies in your own bubble, like get high frequency materials, do, you know, set your home up in high frequency ways, high vibrational ways, and your own connections, and then that energy kind of spreads. You see how that kind of works? Okay. So lastly, for this energy, Spirit's message or an outcome of this energy, how does it look for you? How does it look physically, this energy? What's the main takeaway and advice? Empowerment. I love that, because it's like definitely helping everyone come into their power, and what helps them come into their power, which for, you know, the Awakening Collective, it could be, you know, going in and self-love. And for others, it's kind of bringing that love that you've curated within you outward now, or more in your environment. And there's a very small percentage of people I'm talking to. Wow, there's a lot more people coming in. That's so funny, because no one watches my readings, and even though I know they're pretty on point and very high frequency, but there's a huge third energy I'm getting, because I always do like the awakening, like the folks who are awakened and the folks who are not yet awakened or awakening, but there's a third energy I'm getting, and it's this energy of like, they're like sages and priestesses and priests, and like gurus and, you know, like just very like shamans. They're very high level people. It's interesting that I'm finally reading to them. I have once in a while, but that's just kind of shows kind of the energy we're going into. Like as you go into 5D, you're going to be more aware of the higher energies out there, seen and unseen. If that makes sense. Wow. To have all of you watch this reading, I'm very honored. But there are some very powerful people here. Interesting. Okay, so yeah, how does this look? Chariot. Charge ahead with confidence, stay strong and focused. And it came out sideways, and this is always energy of me, of energy coming in for you. And so I am getting very strongly, there's this energy of because we're talking about high level energies coming to meet you, and we felt that. So I feel like as soon as you start going into 5D energies, you're going to be starting to connect with not just like-minded souls, not just energies who are on your level, just going into 5D as well. But, and I said this in a reading previously, it's like, oh, you're kind of a child, but don't worry. When you enter the 5D, you're going to have like people who are like, not parental figures, but like kind of, not even grandparental figures, but like kind of like mentor type energies, or people who are kind of already been in that 5D energies for a long time and keeping an eye on you, making sure everything's okay, introducing you to the neighborhood, that type of energy. You're going to see and feel, which is really interesting. We got the egg here, success assured with good plans and hard work. Yeah, they recognize you, they can see you, they have been watching you, but you can now see them, and now you can even work with them, learn from them, which is wow. A lot of people yeah, might be connecting to not just like I kept getting like, once this kind of event happens, once like light work start kind of matching up with their divine counterpart, and like a small group of soul family and like people that you can use as support, like spiritual friends you can use as support, that are going to be your physical environment. So like neighbors, live with you, live around you, and stay building things like that. I forget what my train of thought. Yeah, there are going to be folks who kind of have more of there could be like mentor type energy. Yeah, for sure. Okay, so this is other energy now. Okay, so we have this fourth energy with the Dalmatian Jasper. Okay, perfect, thank you. Okay, so what's the energy? What's coming in, leaving, or shifting in a big way? Secret temptation, being led astray, but it's in reverse. So I'm getting kind of two things. I'm getting secrets and then being led in the right direction. And self-reflection, yeah. So I'm getting like a true mirror, like not a deceptive mirror. So I do feel like don't worry, you don't need to be using your discernment skills at this time. Like whatever divine energy is coming through, it's going to be definitely more accurate. And I'm getting it's like divine, it's like God's truth, like divine truth. Like it's going to be an energy where it's like cause a lot of people are going to be confused. Like, is this real? Is this not real? Is this actually happening? Is this not actually happening? And that kind of happens like when you're awakening, right? Like if you're kind of going back and forth and you try to use discernment, like what's real, what's not real, what am I making up, what's facts? You know, is this person saying the truth? Is it not? Is this a real video or doctored? You know, like there's a lot of kind of like that type of energy I'm seeing. But I feel like Spirit is saying like, no, there's gonna be a way to kind of see that these truths, these secrets that are being revealed are in fact the truth, which is interesting. But I'm also getting that's also mirrored in people, you know, the Awakening Collective, and also those who are light worker star seeds who are kind of further along, where you're going to see parts of yourself that like you're gonna realize like, wow, that's actually me. For the Awakening Collective, it's obviously like, oh, you know, there's light aspects, shadow aspects, things about themselves, good and bad, that they might have a hard time kind of believing or trusting that it's like real or that's actually how they are. For light workers, I am getting some sort of like power, some sort of ability. Okay. Okay, let me pull a clarifier on that. Moon, changes in your life. Yeah. So definitely moon. There's another moon here. It's some sort of like clarity coming in about something that you might have been unsure about or didn't really see before. So this is for all people, right? This is the energy, not just for people, but like situations and things. Just things that you weren't aware about yourself. And then also just kind of like I'm getting like entities, like companies or countries, location. Oh my God. Just things that you might have not been aware of before. Like even like people looking at themselves, like companies looking at themselves and groups looking at themselves, family dynamics looking at themselves, like, wow, like, is this true about us? You know? Okay, the Sun card. Wow. Okay, this is positive. The moon and the sun. Yeah, so it's like powerful. It's powerful in both ways. Like things that you didn't know about yourself in this way and in that way. We got the Seven of Swords, which is like lies and truth. So I think there's going to be a huge like wake up call because we got lies and truth, we got secrets, and we got moon and the sun and self-reflection. So there's a definite energy of like major realizations, epiphanies, truth, secrets coming out, realizations, especially when it comes to looking at the self. And it's obviously in individuals, but also in specific groups or entities like companies, corporations, areas, neighborhoods, or like groups of people, family, friends, stuff like that. Okay, so let's see, how does it affect the collective? So how does it affect everyone? What's the intention of this energy? I welcome healthy, loving relationships. It's kind of like necessary in order to kind of break free of this mold of intense amount of hate, intense amount of deception, intense amount of negativity. That a lot of folks, it's kind of like it got too far. It got too much. Like people are giving too much hate and too much negativity and not enough love. People are being too unhealthy, right? Too toxic. And so that's why there needs to be a change. So you're going to see that, like we saw earlier, how there's going to be a change in the groups that are going against each other. There needed to be a huge mirror shown to each of these groups and each of these individuals to cut the hate, to stop the hate. It's like, what about you do you hate so much that you're taking it out on this person? What do you hate so much that you're taking it out on this group? What are you cultivating that's so negative and so harmful in your company or your organization that you're taking it out on the collective? So there's that type of energy. Okay. And communication, yeah. In order to bring about healthy communication, the only way to resolve any issue is to have healthy, loving communication. And it starts with kind of showing the mirror, right? It's usually a clash, but after that clash is done, which is kind of tough, it's like a tower moment, comes the healing. Like, not until you can confront that situation and face it head on. You got to be brave, you got to be courageous, you can't be cowardly. You move on from that shadow aspect, that negativity, that wound. So you have to face it. And this is like the collective, this is like everyone kind of facing anything that they weren't able to see before, the really good stuff, the really bad stuff, just the things that you couldn't see, and the things that might have been really obvious as well, but was not acknowledged. Okay, 4-leaf clover, great good fortune. This is a good thing for the entire collective. You know, everyone's kind of facing their shadow aspect. And 6 of Cups, but this 6 of Cups is very, like, it's just black background, it's kind of dark. And 6 of Cups is reunion, harmony, right? But it's kind of like reunion and harmony because everyone is kind of going through this together. Everyone's kind of like, oh my goodness, we made this mistake, we said these wrong things, we were this terrible person, but at the same time, like, don't be harsh on yourself, like, don't, like, you know, everyone kind of has a good and bad side to them, everyone kind of makes mistakes, everyone has gone through healing or is going through healing, that level of understanding. But for those who are like light workers, let's see, in Starseeds, how does it affect you personally? What does it look like in your personal life? What does it look like for you? I remember soul plan, the fated life versus the destiny life. So as you move into 5D and you have access to these higher energetic sources, you're going to start remembering your past life. And this is also in a recent message for your reading I did, which was also collective energy, about where you're going to be able to recall your past lives more easily. And you're going to also remember that kind of like liminal space that's between like before you're born and when you're born, like when you're kind of like about to be born onto this planet, where you have like kind of access to your whole like Akashic record of all your past lives and future lives. Like you kind of can access that. I don't know if it's for a short period of time or a long period of time, but you do have access to that at this time. Let me see if there's a short period of time or a long period of time. Two of Wands. The door is open. And the Knight of Cups. I'm getting that like treat it as if it's not there for a long time, but as you go into the 5D, you will continue to have access to these things, but maybe not as powerfully as you do at this moment when you kind of officially move from 3D to 5D. It's kind of like you're being reborn because you're going through ascension, you're going into a different energy, you basically are being reborn, and you are going to hit that like in-between space for a short period of time where you can have access to future lives, past lives. And I got before, like, you might want to set an intention of like what you want to see during that life, like show me the lifetimes that are most important to me at this time, that are most helpful, that can give me more clarity of what's to come for me, things like that. Interesting. And meditate and contemplate. For you, soul, meditate. If you're a spiritual person and you haven't meditated before, like this is the time. If you have meditated but you do it once in a while, this would be a good time to meditate once in a while, more often. You don't have to do it often, at least once or twice, but like at this time it's going to be very, very powerful. We got that come up twice, so it's definitely an energy of like, this is the time to do it, light worker, starseed, beautiful spiritual warrior, light bearer, way shower. This is the time to do it. You'll get powerful insights. Let me see. 10. As much as possible. I'm getting kind of like the floodgates are open, so like they'll just keep giving you as much as you want to know, because you're going to be in that like space. Like I'm getting like practical things, like make this decision, go into this career. This is how you can be able to get more money or use your money more wisely. Like this is what you should do with your family. This is what you should do in your future plans with their home. Like they're gonna give you really, really good practical advice because when you're in that that in between space, like you can connect to like all your guides and everything, like higher level guides and stuff like that. So it's like really like they're like, use this time. Should we tell you one more time? I'm getting kind of like new creative ideas, new ventures, a fresh start. Like use us, good fortune. You're getting a lot of good energy because it's also like when you kind of like start this new kind of spiritual cycle, that's when you also get a lot of strong manifestation energy. It's not like you won't get it for the rest of your journey, for the rest of your life in 5D, but like, when you first spiritually awaken, like, how many signs and synchronicities you got and how crazy the world looked to you. Like, colors were bright. You get synchronicities every 2 seconds, crazy things, like, just magical things happening in nature and all around you at all times kind of thing. That's the type of manifestation energy you're going to be in at that time. So it's like, use this time. And not only, you're not going to get just signs and synchronicities this time. You're going to get strong manifestation abilities, and you're going to get strong insights from us, specific questions, specific answers, physical, practical things like you want to know, because you're also stepping into your most powerful physical energy, not just your most powerful spiritual energy. It's both, right? The 5D, okay, because it adds on to the other dimensions. 3D plus 5D, so 3D plus 4D, 5D. Okay, so last but not least, a spirit's message or the outcome of this energy. How does it look for you physically? We already saw that a little bit. What's the main takeaway here? And spirit's advice. Prosperity. Oh, let's get it. All right, so the 10 of Pentacles and prosperity. This is the energy of light workers making more money. You're going to see it, whether it's in your career or some sort of windfall that you are, or things are going to look like they're going to be going that way, more stability, security in this new venture, new career, or new line of work, or side gig, whatever, side business, or whatever you've invested in is, whatever new energy you put into it, it's going in a different direction, a better direction. Like you can see, this is you're feeling good. You're feeling good about money, okay? No matter how much you have, no matter what's happened, you're going to feel good about money by the end of all this, right? This month, by the end of the month, And lastly, eagle. You will soar towards your destiny with greater clarity and strength. Yeah, because you're also being called to your higher purpose. And it's not like you weren't in your soul mission before. This is just kind of like a higher level purpose. It's more all-encompassing, and that's why you're being kind of set up abundantly with money, with people, with stability, security, and also getting very, very specific insights about what is to come in these energies. All right, so beautiful soul, I hope you enjoyed this reading, and I wish you much love and light.